Welcome everyone to Sunday Funday, yoga for the people. So my Sunday classes are a little more active. So for those of you that are looking to really transform your practice by, moving your limits a little further in regards to strength or endurance, or stretch, this is the class for you. This class is appropriate for those who have, oh, there's Karen, yay, welcome. For those who have, at the very least, a foundational knowledge of yoga. And really, even if you don't have a foundational knowledge, I'm pretty verbose with my explanation. So don't let that turn you off for at least giving it a try. The peak pose that we're going to be moving toward today is called Birds of Paradise pose, and it's a standing balance posture. I am not a master of this pose. As a matter of fact, I don't consider myself a master of very many poses at all. I think technically to master something, you have to spend 10,000 hours with it. So looking at the catalog of poses in Hatha Yoga and the amount of hours that I have in my life, I don't think I'll ever be a master of any of them. Now I can increase, I can certainly progress with it, but master, no. And I will definitely exemplify my non-mastery of Birds of Paradise today. But hey, that's kind of what yoga is about, is just getting in there and trying things out. You may discover something amazing that you never knew about yourself, or you may fall, and it's okay. We all fall out of a pose from time to time and go splat. And we pick ourselves back up, and that's why it's called a practice. It's not a perfection. And so don't be hard on yourself if you wobble, or if you even fall out of the posture, because like I said, you may witness me doing the same today. I've always tried to convey to my students that we're in this journey together. Although I'm in the front, it doesn't mean that it's any less of a challenge for me than it is for every one of my students, no matter what level they're at. It's no less of a challenge for me than it is for you. So that's my opening spiel. Quick disclaimer. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Libby Gore. I'm the owner and operator of In the Hills, which is my home-based business. And part of that is that I have a basement yoga studio that before shelter in place, I was running 9 group classes a week, numerous private lessons a week. And now I'm here, I'm virtual, and I will be increasing my online presence over the next few weeks when I have some better recording equipment coming in. Right now, I'm just using my laptop. So it will be interesting to see the transformation that In the Hills goes through, and I hope that you will continue to be part of that journey with me as well. So I have been dying to do a class in front of the iris bed, and although windy today, it's the perfect day for it because the sun is covered by clouds, but you can still see me. I'm not in the shadows. So yay for being in front of the iris beds today. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Coming to a tall seated position. Closing your eyes. And beginning to tune into the rhythm of your breath, the natural rhythm that is. not trying to force your breath into any certain pattern, put it in a box. Just let it be. Feeling its physical movement. Noticing how, as we observe the breath, the mind begins to calm. The emotions may begin to feel a little more balanced. And we use this time to lay our foundation and set our intention for our practice today. So if an intention bubbles up in heart space, affirm it by stating it to yourself 3 times. And any intention should always be stated in the present tense and in the positive. So in the present tense, as if it's already occurring. I am, I receive, I release, I something present tense verb. In stating it in the positive, we don't want to put not, the word not, no negations in there. Universe works in positives. So if it is something like, I don't want to be prideful anymore, state it in the positive. I release pride. That's present tense and it's in the affirmative. Feeling the tension melt away along the exhales. And we'll begin by bringing our hands to heart center and inhaling, reaching forward and up, and exhale all the way back down to the heart. And we'll open our class together with 3 ohms, taking an inhale. Fourth ohm resonates within the heart space. Woo, I'm gonna get blown away today. I will try to speak loudly and clearly so that you can hear me over the wind, but the wind is our background music today. It's interesting that when it gets windy, the birds don't seem to sing as much. That's interesting to me. Okay, we're gonna start on hands and knees. We're gonna do quite a bit of mobility type work today, leading us into our peak pose of Birds of Paradise, which once again is just one of those poses. It's one of those non-traditional poses, but it's fun to try and see where you can go with it. All right. So hands are slightly forward, slightly wider than the shoulders. Let's go ahead and set our hands by coming up to our fingertips and pressing down so that it lifts some of the weight up out of your wrists and engages all those tiny little hand muscles, kind of distributing your weight across the hand. So we'll just start by reaching back through the right leg and bouncing back into the heel here, starting to feel some stretch come into the we're in this position, anytime we're on our hands and knees, you never want to collapse into your shoulders and into your belly. You want to keep them drawn up and pressing down through the hands to keep the shoulders engaged here. All right, from here, you're going to inhale back through the right heel. Now, it's tempting to let that hip open up. We don't want to let that happen. So keep the back thigh wrapped in towards your navel, and we'll take a deep inhale and try to reach forward through the left arm. Balancing table, really draw your navel up. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, draw your elbow, forehead, knee together in the center. Inhale, open. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull it in. One more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw it in. You can inhale, lengthen the leg. Place your hands back down. Cross your right leg over to the outside left of your mat, and then you'll press into your right hip, look over your left shoulder toward your toes, and breathe there. While y'all are breathing there, I'm actually going to place a blanket under my knees. I didn't cue y'all to do the same, but certainly if your knees are tender, and I'm on asphalt here, so it's pretty solid. Not too wonderful feeling on the knees. Please feel free to blanket under your own knees. So remember, we're pushing into the right hip and looking over our shoulder to the left, just looking toward that foot. All right, we'll inhale back to center and exhale, release, coming right into the left leg here. So let's just start by finding the length through the left leg, keeping the back thigh wrapped in toward the navel so that the hip doesn't open out or externally rotate. Drawing the navel and low ribs up, and see if you can find your balance, reaching the right arm forward. Deep inhale. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, in. One more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, in. And then inhale, lengthen the leg, planting the hand. Cross over to the outside right of your mat. Press into your left hip and look over your right shoulder at your left foot. Breathe here. One more breath. And we'll inhale back to center. Exhale, release down. Okay, so we're going to come into a squat position. Now, if your heels don't touch the ground in squat, you can use a blanket to come under your heels for squat. If your heels naturally touch the ground in squat, then no problem there. And don't feel like there's something wrong with you if your heels don't touch. It could be that your ankle is just positioned or structured differently. I don't know what that was that just tried. It sounded really close to me though. It could just be the structure of your ankle. Could just have really tight Achilles tendons as well. So we're in our squat here. Also, another thing you can do if your hips are really tight and you can't get down into this low squat, you can use a block under your bum and lift yourself up a little bit out of it to make it workable for you. So we're going to move with our breath between squat and a forward fold. So I'm going to turn to the side here so you can see my line. We'll take an inhale and squat, and then we'll exhale, shift forward with our weight, straighten our legs, rock back into our heels, and pick the tops of our feet up. So picking the balls of our feet up. And then we'll inhale, shift back onto our hands and into our squat. Exhale, forward fold, and shift the weight into the heels, lifting the feet. Inhale, find your squat. Exhale, forward fold on the heels. Inhale, squat. Exhale, forward fold on the heels. Inhale, squat. Exhale, forward fold on the heels. Inhale, squat. Exhale, forward fold on the heels. 3 more. Inhale, squat. Exhale, forward fold on the heels. Inhale, squat. Exhale, forward fold. Last one, squat. Exhale, fold, and then hold here in your forward fold. Make sure with your fold that you're not squeezing your shoulders up towards your ears. You want to keep good space around your ears and neck there. So I'm pressing the tops of my shoulders away from my ears. And from here, we're going to keep, I'm on fingertips to give me a little bit of height. Certainly you could have blocks here. All I'm going to do, I'm going to lift. I'll start with my left since that one's what's showing to the camera. But you're just going to lift your knee up and touch your armpit with it and then come back down. Other side, armpit and release. Armpit, release. Armpit, release. Keep going. Armpit, release. Armpit, release. Armpit, release. Armpit, release. Armpit, release. Armpit, release. Now, let's do 3 more on each side. But when you pull your knee up into your armpit, try to pull your heel up to your bum. So it's armpit, release, a little more challenging. Armpit, release. 2 more each side. Armpit, release. Armpit, release. 1 more. Armpit, release. Armpit, release. Woo! Inhale, draw your arms out to the sides and up to the top. We'll hold in victory here. I want you to open your feet slightly wider than hips distance and let your toes point open how they naturally want to do. From here, we're going to inhale and lift up onto the toes. And then we're going to exhale, and I want you to start squeezing your inner thighs together with all of your might and try to come down into your squat. Ooh, that's a little more challenging coming from standing. Then you're going to inhale, and you're going to press right through Up, open, up on the toes. Exhale. Squeeze your inner thighs. The deeper that you squat into your knees, the more you want to squeeze the inner thighs together. That helps fire all the muscles up around the knees to help protect them. You'll notice less popping and creaking when you have that engagement of those adductors really drawing inward. But you keep the knees wide, so it's just an isometric grip. We'll do one more of those. Inhale, come up onto the toes. Exhale, squeeze all the way down. A little bit more squat mobility here. So, if you would like to put your hands on the mat for balance, you can. If you can keep your hands on arms up, that's going to offer a little more intensity for you. So find what works for you and your body today. So you're going to, with this first one, we're going to wrap open or really hinge open, I guess. So I'm actually rotating onto the outside edge of my foot and the knee opens out. And then I reverse that and hinge forward onto the inside arch of the knee and the knee touches down. And then I'll switch sides. So I'm going to open and close. Open and close. Open, close. Open, close. Open, close. Two more each side. Open, close. Open, close, open, close, open, close. Coming back to center here. Now, I want you to drop your right shoulder down into the inside of your right knee, and I want you to extend your right arm and open it out as far as you can. That should press that knee open, and you should feel a deepening of the stretch when you come into this position from there. And then I want you to bring your left hand to your left knee and press it open and look up over your left shoulder. 5 breaths. And we'll come back to center. Now I'm going to drop my left shoulder down, extend and press open. Right hand to the inside of the right knee, press open and look up over the shoulder, 5 breaths. I forgot to bring my clock outside so I can see what time it is. So I'm going to have to check my phone here in a minute. I am not trying to be rude looking at my phone during yoga, but I got to see what time it is. So I don't have y'all here till like 5 o'clock tonight. I can keep on going. I'm like the Energizer Bunny when it comes to teaching a class. I'll just keep on going till the cows come home. I had just begun one of my group classes. This was about a year ago this time. And it was at a weird time. It was different from any of my other group classes. It started at 6:30 instead of 6. And I was used to, because I teach 90-minute classes, if they start on the hour, they end on a half hour. And that class was supposed, y'all can come up, that class was supposed to end at 8 o'clock at night. And I kept glancing at the clock, and it was like 5 till 8. And I thought to myself, oh yes, I've got plenty of time to get a few more poses in. And it was not until 8:20 that I realized they were supposed to be gone 20 minutes ago. I had to apologize. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. They had been doing yoga for almost 2 hours. and I'm just going along. Stand up and shake that out a little bit. Oh goodness. So yeah, speaking of checking the time, let me give a quick check and see where we are. Oh, we're good. We're good. All right. So, oh, I forgot to bring a strap. Awesome. So you get to see this posture in its raw form with no strap, and it's actually a good thing. We're about to give Padangusthasana a try. So we're about to start dabbling into the balance realm or standing balance, because we did bird dog. That was a balance posture, but this is our first standing balance posture. With Padangusthasana, that's where you take hold of the foot and go straight out. I've got an extra extension cord that I will demonstrate one reason I don't like to use straps with this posture. Let me grab one of these extension cords. Of course, they're probably all tangled up. I'll just grab part of one. I have to plug my laptop up because when I'm recording, my battery won't last the whole hour and a half. It eats the battery up to record through Zoom. Okay, so this is my pretend strap. And by all means, if you have a strap and you're used to using your strap for this posture, you go. But I can show you a way to ease yourself into the posture without a strap. But let me show you what I see, and one reason I don't like using straps with my students with this posture. It becomes a trophy to get the leg straight, so much so that you throw yourself off balance, and then you do what I call the woe back. Let me show you the woe back. So take a strap, put it around the foot, and my students get so fixated on getting that leg out straight that they pop up and then they lean back against it. That's a whoa back. So that is taking the work out of the hip. If you can see, if I come up and start leaning back against it, the angle between my torso and my hip hasn't changed. I'm not using the power of my hip flexors to actually make some of this action occur. So I would actually prefer my students to work at a preparatory stage of the posture than to use a strap. But on the other hand, as long as you're not trying to pop up into it or woe back in it, use the strap if you want to use the strap. Be your own guru. All right, so I'm showing you this from the side so that you can see the line I want you to keep, even if you can't fully extend the leg. What you're going to do, I prefer to use peace fingers hooked around my big toe. Some people like to use a full hand wrapping around the outside of the foot or even the inside of the foot. And once again, I'm not going to tell you your business with that. I just find it a little more stable in my body to hook my peace fingers around my big toe, and my palm is open to the midline of my body. Okay, here we go. I've talked this pose up enough. Let's actually do it. So we'll start with our right leg being our floating leg, our left leg being our standing leg. Now, if I were in class, I'd say to my students, what is one of the most important things about standing balance that you need to have? And they would say, Adristi. Yes, you need to have one point to focus your gaze on and lock it in. Because if your eyes are wandering around, your mind is wandering, and then your body's not going to be able to balance. So you want to laser in on one point. I like to go on the ground out ahead of me. Some people like to go straight ahead. Okay, so I've got my right peace fingers ready. I'm going to start with a simple knee to chest. So I'm going to shift my standing weight over to my left leg. And what that means is I don't want to be sassy hip there and just hanging out on this left leg. I want to draw that hip under me and press down through the four corners of my standing leg foot. So from here, you're going to draw your right knee up into your chest as high as you can. I'm going to bring my arm to the inside of my leg and hook around my big toe. And then I'm going to create resistance. So I'm going to push the foot into my hand and pull back with my hand as well. So I've got double resistance going here. This may be where your Padangusthasana work is. If you feel like you can go a step further, the next step I want you to work on is lifting your heart and lifting your shin parallel to the ground. I've got my left hand just on my left hip. Oh, I'm about to go down. All right, so there we go. Fall number one. Now you can, the ice is broken. You can fall out of the pose as much as you want to because Libby's falling out of hers. I am not going to try to pop right back up where I was. I'm going to take it step by step. You never want to just try to pop up into your balance pose. That's the quickest way to fall out of it. So I'm going to come back through the process so that I'm training my tissues. I'm educating my tissues to find this posture. So I start here. I lift tall, maybe. I come parallel. Now, this may be where my work is, or maybe, just maybe on an exhale, I can begin to lengthen the leg. And I'm breathing. And I'm going to try to come out of this posture with the same control that I went into it. And then I'm going to shake my legs out. And I'm going to rotate my left standing ankle a little bit before I move into the other side. We'll try it on the other side, and then we'll give them a try on each side again so that we get good practice with it. I don't think I quite held for 5 breaths with that, but certainly that is what we want to work up to is 5 full breaths. And then if you get there, you can try 10 full breaths or 7 full breaths. Okay, so now my right leg is my standing leg. So I want to shift my standing weight over to that leg and really ground through the 4 corners of my right standing leg foot, which are the inner and outer ball, inner and outer heel of the foot. All right. We got a lot of cloud coverage and I'm getting really shady looking there. I'm shady anyway, so it's appropriate. All right, peace fingers of my left hand. I've got my dristi, strong standing leg supporting me, hip up under me. I'm going to start by drawing my left knee up into a standing knee to chest. I'm going to hook around my big toe, stand up tall through my heart, push the foot into my hand, pull back with my hand into the foot, and try to start by just bringing my shin parallel to the mat. And then if I feel like I can go further, I can straighten the leg fully. And we breathe. And I try to come out with the same control that I went into the posture with. So we'll give it a 3 breath try on each leg just for the sake of time. Oh, I have a caterpillar on my mat. Let me save it. Put him on the irises. Uh-oh, I dropped him. You all right, little guy? Girl? Oh, they're good. They're headed toward the irises now on their own. All right, so left leg is the standing leg. I'll show you from the front this time now that you know what it looks like. Left leg is the standing leg. I'm going to press down so that that hip is not out from under me, but it's solid. It's drawing in. It's as if I'm trying to suction this outer hip to the midline of my body. I find my dristi. Knee up, hook, double resistance, foot presses, hand pulls back, heart lifts. I come parallel first, and then I try to fully lengthen. If you're super duper good, you can try casting your gaze over the opposite shoulder. Yikes. That's usually where I go down for the count. I'm looking forward again. I'm back to my dristi. All right. And release. Shake that out. We'll give it one more go with the left leg being the floating leg. All right. So solid right leg. Lifted tall. Knee to chest. Hook. Make sure I have my dristi. Press foot into hand. Pull hand back. And shin comes parallel. And then we lengthen. Any of those stops along the way may be where your work is. And I try to come out with just as much control as I went in. And we shake that out. All righty. So, a little bit more warming of the legs. Obviously, our peak pose, it's a necessity to have very warm leg and hip muscles and lots of opening already happening before we ever try to go into the posture. So we're just going to keep on keeping on with that. All right, so from here, I'd like for you to stand hips distance apart. And what we're about to do, it looks very easy until you try to do it. And then you'll be like, oh my gosh, that is not very easy. All right, so from here, I'm just gonna find Tadasana, so low ribs in, navel in and up. I'm lifting from the base of the skull through the crown of the head. I'm gonna inhale and draw up on my toes, arms overhead. And then I'm gonna exhale, and I'm gonna try to hinge at my hips, reach my arms, woo, reach my arms behind me and try to bring my torso parallel to the ground. I'll inhale, I'm still on my toes, sweeping through and up, and then I'll exhale and let everything come down. Let me pull my pants legs up so that y'all can see my heels when I do that. Okay, so more balance practice here. And you really got to turn on the old belly muscles when you fold. That's what's going to help keep you stable. So really try to draw in and up with the belly muscles. All right, here we go. Hips distance apart. I'm going to inhale and lift. Exhale. Begin hinging at the hips and letting my arms reach behind me simultaneously. I've got a dristi. And then I'm going to try to inhale up. And release down. Now, if being on the toes just doesn't work for you, you can certainly do this same type of work being flat-footed. Now, it's not going to be quite as much of a balancing act, but you're still activating your core stabilizing muscles by hinging in that half forward unsupported fold. So work where you need to be working. Let's do one more of those. Third time's a charm here. We'll inhale and lift. Exhale, hinge. Woo! Almost lost it. This is called diver's pose here. And then we inhale and try to keep our structure and our balance. Exhale, release down. Nice, shake that out. And now we're gonna step wide. We'll start with feet parallel. I don't know why I pulled my pants legs down because y'all need to see my feet and ankles on this one too. So if you joined me for last week's Sunday Funday, we did this same mobility work moving into Skandasana. That's what we're about to do. So prepare yourself mentally for Skandasana. Such a good posture for strength, range of motion, control. It's such a good posture. We're going to start by just shifting very smallly. I don't think smally is a word. We're going to shift small movements side to side. Just kind of telling our knees it's okay where we're about to go. You don't have to be fearful. I'm giving you a little bit of warm up here, getting that synovial fluid moving, exchanging out. Okay, we'll make it a little bit bigger by the next time you shift to the right. You're going to rotate up onto your left heel so that toes point up and you're pushing down through the heel. And then now that will be our shift side to side. I just picked up jogging again. I mean, it's been like years and years since I've been jogging, but my pastor was calling me this last week and boy, can I feel these movements in my legs. It had been a while. And honestly, I don't know that I'd call what I do jogging. It's more like a walk with a bounce in it. All right. Next time we come shifting to the right, you're going to press down through the heel. I'm reaching my arms forward to help with my balance, and I'm going to try to settle all the way down onto my bum. Or you can try settling just in the squat. And heel can be up. The more you turn open, the more likely it will be that you can get that heel all the way down. Now, from here, if you've got the hip strength, you can do it without your hands. You may want to bring your hands down, and we're going to shift all the way up. And now the right toes turn up and open, and I try to make it all the way down to squat. It's harder to sit down and pull yourself back up. We'll just stay in the squat version today. And man, my hip flexors are tired. I'm using my hands today. All right, we're going to push, shift, and squat. And squat. We'll go one more to each side. Those of you that do mobility work at the gym, you probably know this is Cusack squat. All right, come back up to center. Hands to the hips, strong belly, strong back, inhales you all the way up to center. And you can either hop your feet in or you can heel toe your way back to center. All right, a few more poses before we move into Birds of Paradise. Let me check my time. Okay, we're good, I think. I'm going to chop some poses because I don't want to do birds of paradise right before we have to go into Shavasana. I want to do a little bit of cool down work. All right, so come to the top of your mat, finding Tadasana. We'll inhale forward and up with the right knee, Pavimuktasana. We'll exhale, go long through the body, try to catch a quick warrior 3, and then we'll control bending into that front knee and touching down into Ashtachandrasana. Let me make sure, yeah, Ashtachandrasana. So this is a high lunge position. You don't want that back hip opening out and the heel swiveling in with this one. You want to keep the back thigh wrapped in towards your navel. Front knee is directly over the front ankle. I want to tuck my pelvis forward. You'll feel that fire up, that hip flexor, but it also wants to bring a bend into the back knee when you tuck forward. Try to keep the tuck and push back through the heel to get maximum length. And then we inhale and sweep the arms forward and up and try to draw the extension up into the thoracic spine. Draw your low belly back into your low back, and we breathe. I tried to look down and sneak a peek at what the next pose was, and the wind blew, and I can't see my, oh, there we go. 2 more breaths. Okay, deep inhale. Exhale, swivel your back heel in 90 degrees, and I want you to land in your warrior 2 position. Now, your front knee is critical in your warrior 2 position. I'm going to show you from straight on. You're breathing and holding. If you have a disengaged outer hip or front hip, it's going to be out from under you, and this knee's going to jut in towards your big toe. This is a compromised knee right here. It's dangerous. So what I want to do is isometrically grip in a counterclockwise direction with the front heel. And so what that does is it pulls that hip up under me, engages it, and now I'm strong. So make sure that your knee is tracking more toward second and third toe as opposed to pointing in at your big toe. One more breath. And we'll press into our front foot to straighten. On the exhale, we'll drop our front hip crease back in toward our body and reach as long as we can. And then when you can't reach any longer, don't drop your torso. Simply open your arms and expand across your chest for Trikonasana. Front leg is straight, but the knee is not locked. Front quadricep is engaged, though. It's trying to be strong and draw back up toward the hip. And then we'll inhale and draw back up. Now, this is a balancing act right here. I want you to bend the front knee, again, back to warrior 2. You're going to try to rotate back to your lunge position onto the ball of the back foot. Get a little bit of leverage here and launch the back foot forward to standing. Nice. Shake that out. Whew. We got the other side to go with that one. I'll turn around so that you can still see everything happening with the leg. I apologize that it's gotten so dark out here. I thought I was safe. Feel like I'm shadow dancing. For those of you that don't know me and you're just watching me on YouTube, yes, I get distracted very easily. To keep focused. All right. So this time the work is going to be with the left leg moving. We'll inhale forward and up with the left knee, Pavanmuktasana. Exhale. Carefully try to snag your warrior three. And then you'll bend into the front standing leg to touch down with control into Ashtachandrasana. So once again, pelvis is tucked, back heel is reaching back, and I sweep the arms forward and up and try to draw the extension up into my thoracic spine. But I don't squeeze my shoulders up to my ears. And we breathe. All right. Deep inhale. Exhale, swivel the back heel in 90 degrees. Opening out to warrior two. You may have to adjust your stance there. Okay, so front knee is over the front ankle. And this time it's an isometric rotational grip of the front heel in the clockwise direction. And you'll feel it pull that hip up under you, and it'll line the knee up with second and third toe. You should be actively reaching through the arms, not just hanging out like scarecrow. You're reaching, heart is expanding. Draw your navel in and up. Front thigh is singing. Woo! That's what mine's saying. One more breath here. God, these irises smell so good. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, let the front hip crease drop into the body as you reach forward. Don't go down. Don't go down. Keep reaching. Keep going long on the underside of the body. When you can't go any longer, then we open. I've still got that isometric grip of the front heel, keeping my knee protected. And I'm not collapsing here. I'm pressing and lifting and expanding. One more breath. And inhale, here's our balancing act. I'm gonna try to bend the front knee. That would not have worked, what I was just about to try to do. All right, rotate. Here's the balance. Precision. All right. Shift your weight and try to launch up. I lost it. Oh well. And shake that out. All right, I believe it is time. It is time. Okay. So, with Birds of Paradise pose, we really haven't done much shoulder opening, and that is an oversight on my part because we really should have done some shoulder opening for this. So do the best you can without having excessive shoulder opening. I like to come into this pose from a squat type position, not all the way down, but this is one reason why we did a lot of squat mobility work. I'm gonna take a generously open stance here. And I'm going to come down into kind of a semi-squat. I've got my hands on the mat, keeping me stable. From here, I want to drop my right shoulder down in between or to the inside of my knee. And then with this right hand, I'm going to reach back and try to reach. I'll show you this from the back side. going to drop my shoulder down, and I'm going to reach and try to reach to my back right bum, my right cheek there. And then with my left hand, I'm going to reach up and over and try to hook my hands. You may want a strap here. If you can't hook, find a strap. And then I'm going to hop my weight over to my standing left leg, and I'm up on the ball of my right foot. I look forward and find a drishti, and then I press through my standing leg to lift, and then I try to extend. I'll show you that from the front. Like I said, you got to use your imagination with my birds of paradise. It is not the most amazing birds of paradise ever. But hey, at least it's not discouraging to you to see me not being able to really do the pose masterfully. Okay, so I'm dropping down. I'm going to give it another try here on this side. Dropping down. Going to reach behind. Make my hand available. Try to hook. If I can't hook, I'm going to use a strap. Shift my weight. Hop, hop. Get my drishti. And very carefully start lifting. And then if I get here, I can try lengthening. Ah! Woo! That one made me lightheaded. It's all free and legal. All right. We'll give it a try on the other side now. So, on the left, I'll show you from the back side the first time, and then the second time we try it, I'll show you from the front. So I'm coming here, got a generous stance. I'm gonna kind of semi-squat. I'm gonna drop my left shoulder down, reach around, try to hook, shift my weight, find my drishti, and try to find my balance, standing. Yikes, I'm losing it. Completely botched that one. Oh well, I'll give it one more try. Like I said, this is one of those poses. It's just kind of fun to try to see where you can go with it. And you know, as with any pose, if you spend enough time with it and build the tissue memory, you'll get there and be able to hold it all day. I just don't spend a lot of time with this pose at all. It seemed like a fun one to try for today though. All right, so shoulder comes down. I'm gonna reach back behind and hook, shift my weight, find my drishti, carefully come up, and then I'm gonna try to lengthen. I think I might have got 2 seconds on that one. Yeah. All right, shake that out. Y'all probably did a lot better than I did. If there's one thing that drives me bonkers, y'all can go ahead and come down to the mat. That's finding some person on YouTube and turning it on. It's supposed to be like a beginner YouTube, and not being able to do half of what they're doing and looking at them, seeing them do it all perfect. It's frustrating for me. I'd much rather have somebody screwing up in front of me. Let me check the time. All right, we're good. Excellent. Okay, so let's lengthen our legs forward and maybe give them a little bounce out. We did a lot of squatting, so let's actually hyperextend the knees to bend them in the opposite direction. I'll come to the side so you can see. So let's find Dandasana, staff pose. I'm gonna plant my hands right by my hips, and I'm gonna press down into my hands so that my shoulders draw back and my heart lifts. I'm gonna draw my low ribs in against that, and then I'm gonna press through my heels so much that they pop up off the mat. When your heels pop up off the mat like that, you're hyperextending into the knee. And it's perfectly safe to be hyperextending. By the way, lift from the base of the skull through the crown of the head. Perfectly safe to hyperextend because you're not bearing weight on them. It sounds scary, but it's not. And relax. All right, from there, I want you to bend your right knee in toward your chest. We'll plant our right hand behind our right hip. You're going to inhale out, up, and cross over. And you'll notice when you do that, it kind of pushes your knee in. I want you to push more with your arm. Push in with your arm on your knee. Now, here's where the magic happens. Push the knee back into the arm, and it'll torque your heart open to the side plane and give you a shoulder stretch in the process. This front left foot needs to be flexed and engaged. I like to flex and flare my toes. And we breathe. Try to open back with your back shoulder, not let it punch forward on you. You want to keep opening and expanding. Deep inhale. Exhale, slowly unwind. And we'll move to the other side. So bending in with the left leg this time. Plant your left hand behind your left hip, fingertips pointing away from you. I think I forgot to say that on the other side, but we want to initiate external rotation, and the fingertips pointing away from you will help you find that position. Flex the right foot and press the back side of the right leg down to the mat. We're going to inhale out, up, and across. My palm is open to the side. I'm going to push the arm into my leg and push my leg back into the arm. And that's where you get the sweet twist going on. Ooh, I just noticed I've got red clover showing up. Yay! There is nothing better than some red clover lemonade in the summer. Oh, yummy. Well, I'm sure there are things that are better, but it's pretty dang good. Yes, I eat things out of my yard. I eat yard onions. I eat, sometimes I'll eat violet flowers or make tea with them. And dandelions, dandelion green. Thank y'all for caring, by the way. All right, deep inhale. Exhale. Unwinding. Okay, let me check the time. I've got one last, it's not a full doozy of a pose, but it can be a doozy. But it kind of follows the same vein as what we've been doing. And I know it's kind of strange to have a doozy pose at the end here, but it's not too strenuous. And it's another one of those ones that it might not happen for you, but it's kind of fun to try. So I'm going to turn to the side. And what we're going to do, you're going to bend through your right knee, and you're going to drop your shoulder down, and you're going to try to lift your shin and hook your leg on your arm. I've got both feet flexed and all my toes flared. And I'm going to try to shift my weight forward and press down and lift. I got 2 seconds. Nah, not even 2 seconds. I got 1 second of air. You know, this pose has worked much better for me in the past. I don't know why it's not happening for me today. I have done this one a little bit better in the past. Oh, it's sliding on my shirt. I can't quite get it all the way up onto my shoulder. I usually come onto my upper arm with it, and it's sliding. Let's see if I can lock it in. Nope. It's not going to happen. Scratch it. If you want, I guess we should try it on the other side at least. Let's do that. And then we'll twist it out and then we'll shove off. All right. So maybe it'll work a little better on this side for me. I can get this leg up a little higher. I'm still sliding though. All right. Feet are flexed and flared. I'm going to shift forward and press down through my hands and try to lift my leg. Oh, I got like a 1/4 inch of air on that one. All right. We'll chalk that one up for what it is. Go ahead and come down onto your backs. Ah. You can hug your knees into your chest and maybe rock from side to side here. Let your left foot come down to the mat, knee bent. Clasp behind your right thigh and lengthen that leg out fully to the sky. And then we're just going to bend and lengthen. Bend and lengthen. Bend, lengthen. I've got my foot fully engaged here, dorsiflexion. It's not just like a floppy fish hanging out up there. We want this to actually do its job for us. We'll do 3 more lengthens. All right, and we'll switch legs. So right foot comes to the mat, draw the left knee in, hold behind the thigh, lengthen fully. And then we'll just bend, lengthen, bend, lengthen, keep going. It's crazy with all the cloud coverage out here how bright it still is. Like I can't keep my eyes open. I'm on my back. Once again, thank y'all for caring. 3 more. I feel those hammies working. And relax down. Go ahead and cross right ankle over left knee, figure 4 style. And then we'll draw this left knee up into our chest and we're just going to draw it in and relax. So we're kind of curling our tailbone up and then releasing it. Fantastic for hip rotation, your piriformis muscle. Back of the hip, actually kind of short, not a big muscle at all, but wowzers, it will let you know if it is not happy. Couple more here on this side, and we'll switch to the other side. Draw the right knee up and just start rocking your tailbone up. Getting a little bit of low back release in here too. Get that contraction of the abdominals. We have 3 more. And release down. All right, so knees are bent. I want you to press into your feet to lift your hips and shift them over to the right side of your mat so that you feel all cattywampus. And then you're going to cross your right leg over your left fully. You can go into full Garudasana legs if you want to by hooking your foot behind the calf there. Arms come out to a T, palms up. And on an exhale, let your knees fall across your body to the left. So you want to try to stay fully grounded through the right shoulder. So don't let it pop up like this. If it's doing this, come out of your twist some. But if you're lucky, this particular twist may give you a sweet pop in your low back. Like if I'm gonna get a pop in my low back from a twist, this is usually the one that'll do it for me. I don't know that I'm so fortunate today to get one, but it still feels good. Next time I write a sequence for Birds of Paradise, I gotta remember to open the shoulders up. I can't believe I neglected that. Oh well, it still felt good. All right, you can inhale up to center, unwind your legs. Now you'll shift all the way across your mat to the left. Left leg over right, hooking if you'd like. And then you can, on an exhale, drop your knees off to the right. Once again, try to allow that left shoulder to remain grounded. And we're breathing. Feels so good. And that is really what your yoga practice is all about. It's feeling good. Or at least working your way to feeling good. Well, that's not what all your yoga practice, but it sure does make it sweet. And inhaling up to center, uncrossing, shifting your hips back to center as well. And we'll move straight into Shavasana by lengthening our legs out, away from our bodies. Feet are roughly mat's distance apart. Just let the feet flop open how they naturally want to. Arms extend out to the sides, palms up. You can take up as much or as little space as you'd like. Work your shoulder blades up under you so that you feel your chest expand. And equalize the distribution of your weight between your hips and your shoulders. Close your eyes. So make sure the back of your neck is long. Just give the weight of your body over to gravity. Having all faith that you're fully supported and you can just let go. Letting go, I whisper. It's okay to release. Letting go, my body says back to me, thank you. Letting go, I find a silence and a stillness so sweet. Letting go, I feel my body welcome in peace. This feeling of centeredness, groundedness, and ease becomes available anytime I'm willing to let go and welcome release. As the sound of the bell enters into your awareness, let it bring with it an awareness of your surroundings, beginning to deepen your breath and turn your senses outward once again. Slowly begin to bring movements back into your body, starting with fingertips and toes, hands and feet, wrists and ankles, arms and legs. Whole body making movements that feel good to you. And when you're ready, make your way over onto your right side using your arm or blanket as a pillow, remaining there for a couple of breaths, allowing all weight off the heart. And then you can gently help yourself up to a comfortable seated position. We'll end where we began. I invoke favor, peace, and prosperity upon each of us this day. May we experience full restoration, nothing missing, nothing broken. That which has been taken from us, physical and not, may it be returned to us sevenfold. And that which was once broken in our lives, bodies, minds, or spirits, may it be mended like new. May all beings be happy, healthy, and free, and may we practice with patience and know much peace. Namaste. Thank you to each of you for being here in the room with me today, and thank you to all of you out in YouTube land that made it through the end of the sequence with us. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Namaste.